we have spent plenty of time on spreadsheets, so we're going to have a big break from that. I thought we'd go from, laptops and technology all the way the other way and get some stuff that you can hold with your hands. Okay, yeah, old school is exactly right. So, the whole idea with the spreadsheets was that I did mention to you in the general course, right? You have to spend time on technology and on spreadsheets specifically, right? But we run out of time. There's never enough time to spend in class doing the kind of stuff that we did, and you'll kind of be expected to, we'll farm that out to you to do as homework or that kind of thing. But, on your own, it's quite hard to do. Like you saw how many struggles we had, even with people around to help you, right? So that was the idea behind that. This, what we're about to do, is much the same. Okay, it comes under something you're going to do next year, which requires some time, which requires some outdoor stuff. Okay, but before we get to that, we need to build. All right. So therefore, the heading I'd like you to make is area. Yeah, Lucas. Yes. Where's your book? Get it out. Okay, shh. You need your book, boys. The date is the 29th. So, Year 10, when you're ready, I'll just wait for your attention, and then we can begin. Shh. You don't know. You're not the only one. In this classroom, in our class, we have a bit of a rule, which is that if you how do I start this? If you act in a way that causes trouble for other people, we ask you to apologize. And to apologize in a proper way. There's a particular way to apologize as well. We don't just accept sorry. Right? Yeah, that's right. So because you're new, I'll let this one pass and I won't give you the whole treatment. And also because you weren't the only one. But after we get through this, I might go through the steps. You guys might have to help me. Alright, so here's what we're doing. I've got a whole bunch of cardboard here, right? And I'm going to be using them as props because, so why not, okay? I've given you some cardboard. I hope that you're sitting next to someone with a different color. Did you guys get some? Someone get different color. Now, here's what you're going to need to do. Shh. Your turn. I'm going to do a series of shapes. As I said, I forgot the glue. Sorry about that. You'll have to stick it in on a later occasion. I'm going to do about 4.5 shapes, okay? Now, all of mine are huge because I'm up on the board, but you're going to need to make your piece of cardboard last through the 4 shapes. So don't make your shapes as large as mine. You won't be able to stick them in anyhow, okay? The reason why you're sitting next to someone who has a different color is so that you can use each other's colors and it'll look a bit nicer. And, actually some of the things I'm about to do actually rely on there being more than one color, as you will see shortly, okay? So, first, let's remember, what is area? How would you define it? Amy?
It's like height times the length.
Okay, so now we're starting to talk about dimensions, like up and down and back and forth, like that's length, okay? And we will get to that when we start to have a look at the shapes, but I'm trying to think about something more.
Inside the shape.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Was that like a word for word? Okay, all right. I'll credit that equally to both of you because you had 2 turns. So let's all get that down. Area is the space taken up by, and I'm going to push on that a little further, taken up by a 2D, 2-dimensional shape. Okay, space taken up by a 2D shape. I'm going to avoid the word inside because as you'll see later on, not today but later lessons, inside's kind of an ambiguous word. Okay, so space taken up by a 2D shape. Now where does it begin? What's the most basic shape? The most basic shape that we know. Very good. It's the square. Okay, so get yourself your scissors, right, and try your best. Maybe what you want to know is draw a square and then cut it out. But I've always wanted to say this. Here's one I prepared earlier. Okay, so there's our square, right? Now, it is the simplest shape. So I've got a height here, And then I've got a length here, but it's a square, right? It's a square. So these are equal, right? So I would put like a line there and a line there, right? So instead of saying height and length, really all the sides, they're all the same, right? So if that's S, I can call this S as well, okay? So this area of a square is S squared. Very good, thank you very much. So, then we move on, right? That's the simplest kind of shape, but go a little further. What's something with a little more complexity to it?
Rectangle.
Ah, the rectangle actually comes next. We'll come to the triangle in a second. I wonder if you can think, by the way, of why this shape actually does come before the triangle. So here we go. Here's our rectangle. Okay. Now, this is coming to what Amy was mentioning. The area of a rectangle is equal to, now we need some labels, right? And there are a few different labels that get used. With a rectangle, the most common ones are L and B. Do you know what they stand for? Length and breadth. Okay? Length and breadth. So the area here, if you can imagine, is like dividing this rectangle up into a whole bunch of squares, right? So if I divided it all up, how many would I have across this way? That'd be the breadth. And how many would I have up and down this way? That'd be the length, okay? So then you multiply them together. Right? So far, so good. Or just, you don't need the multiplication sign, do you? Okay? LB.